Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video we're going to have a little bit of an update to the Retribution Paladin guide for Delves. A few things we're going to talk to here. First of all, we're going to talk about the combat Curios though. First of all, I want to apologize because I had no idea we were getting a full reset of combat Curios for this patch. I thought they were just adding a couple new ones, so a couple new ones for each slot, a combat and a utility. I didn't know they were completely resetting them. So in the guide, I gave combat Curios that no longer exist. They were from Season 1. So first, we're going to go and talk about these combat Curios. It's important to note that as long as you have decent talents and you kind of are playing your class right, the combat Curios don't matter a lot. However, they can, make a little difference, especially if it's close. So for combat Curios, I've tried out all of them, so I'm just going to give my opinion. But there are, multiple ones that are, actually kind of good. So one that I played with a lot was the Pocket Frenzy, where he makes turrets. This one isn't that good, but it is, it's kind of fun and flavorful. The one that I go with personally is this bouncing grenades right here, the Goblinometric bouncing grenade. Why? Because it has a chance to stun and also stun other enemies as well, especially as you rank it up. Again, I play very defensive in Delves. I'm just trying to get through it. Let's say I'm doing a plus 11 or whatever. Trying to do that. Now this would not be very helpful against the Godfather or whatever, the question mark boss one. You might want to choose a different one for that, but just in normal Delves. And just as a quick here, I am going to do a guide on how to solo the double question mark Godfather or whatever. But just for this is for regular Delves. I do like this bouncing grenade. It's very defensive. However, if you're struggling for whatever reason, maybe your gear, maybe you just aren't that sweaty of a player, this reverse engineered goblin death bomb is actually really good as well. If you are finding yourself dropping low health a lot, right? So for me, I'm not finding myself drop low health a lot, and so it's not super useful for me. But if it is for you, I definitely recommend trying it out. And if you like one of these other ones, if you like Pocket Factory, then play Pocket Factory. It doesn't really matter overall. Now for utility Curios, for me, it's an easy choice here. And what I play is Overdrive Pylon. Why? It's very boring. However, it's just flat damage to a very sweaty player who's doing his DPS rotation right. So when you give me 15% extra damage, I am maximizing that damage, right? Now this only is good for longer fights. You have to be in combat for a while, but it does allow you for like boss fights, right? So the number one time where I feel like I might die is like a boss fight. And so this thing's going to get summoned during a boss fight, and I'm going to have this increased damage, and it's just flat damage, right? It's kind of boring, but it's really good if you're pressing your buttons right. However, there are very fun things in here, such as the Pacifist Rig. So this like summons a robot, and you can just get in the robot and flamethrower everything. So it's just kind of fun. The three-dimensional Biospinner is kind of fun, especially if you're maybe struggling a little bit more. Once again there. So there's all kinds of good choices here. Hopefully, you weren't just like whatever. Like it doesn't really matter what you pick. Honestly, you're gonna get through it if you press your buttons good and stuff like that. But I did want to update it anyways because I felt bad having the wrong ones on there. There are some other things I want to talk about real quick. Tank Brann. He is still pretty good. So since I made the video, Tank Brann got nerfed heavily. He's now been buffed up a little bit. Some of the healer and the damage dealer have been tweaked a little bit as well. Tank is still fine, but I said it was the best, and it may still be the best, but healer is also really good now as well. Obviously, healer's a little bit different of a playstyle as a Ret Paladin. You need to walk over the potions and heal yourself. You need to step in the stuff to heal yourself. Don't outrange the healing orb thing, the Titan orb that heals you. But healer's pretty good as well. I would say they're both fine. Play with whatever one is good. If you can do really high damage, Tank is probably still a little bit better. Because basically, if you can kill the mobs before Brann faints or whatever, then Tank is great. However, since he is nerfed a little bit, you might not be killing the mobs before he's taken out, in which case maybe healer's better if you can just manage to go walk around and heal yourself essentially with the potions. The potions are the biggest thing, and then his other healing effects as well. So that was changed as well. I already kind of touched on it, but I will be doing a guide on how to solo the Godfather or whatever the big boss is on double question mark. This fight is a little bit bugged in. It's a little bit harder for melee than range. It's actually pretty easy as ranged. So it's going to be a Ret Paladin guide. Some of you may have already done this because it's not super hard. It's much easier than Zekvir. I'll say that. Zekfear, you had to learn the mechanics. You had to do certain things. You had to spec a certain way, press certain buttons. Whereas this one's not so much. This one's more about dodging mechanics than actively dealing with them with like a cleanse or freedom or, you know, interrupt, right? This is a little bit less active and more of, you know, mobile dodging, I guess you might say. So I will be doing that as well. Hopefully everyone's having fun in Delves. I was having a blast in Delves. A little bit less fun after they nerfed Brann, but even this slight buff back up has made it very similar for me. However, I might have more gear than you, and I might be killing things faster than you, so it might not be as fun for you. I'm up to 657 now, so yeah. So that's it for this one, guys. Again, sorry about the Curio thing. Completely understand if anyone's like, what the hell? This isn't even the Curios I have an option of. But I did want to do this update video, even if it's not for very many people for that reason. So as always, I ask you to please subscribe to the channel. If you're already a subscriber, I encourage you to check out the Patreon. Other than that, everybody, have a good one.